Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for today's session put on by BridgeFT and ForwardLane. We are really excited to talk with everyone today about leveraging AI for wealth management, specifically focusing around the recent emergence of ChatGPT. Before we get into things, I'd like to go through the agenda. So on today's call, which we have a 45-minute session put together for you guys, we're going to start with presenter introductions. After we go through those bios, we'll then look at a quick overview on BridgeFT's solution, as well as we'll look at ForwardLane overview as well. After that, we'll move into a dedicated portion around what exactly is ChatGPT. After that overview, we'll then go into the specific applications and benefits to the wealth management industry. After that, we do have a brief ForwardLane demo for you guys to check out on today's call. And I did also want to draw everyone's attention to the fact that there is a dedicated question and answer session at the end of the call. So as we're going through content, go ahead and take advantage of that questions module, like in the little chat bubble on your screen, and we will get to all of those questions at the end of the session. Also, one last housekeeping thing is that today's session is being recorded. So we will be providing a recording of today's session. Just check your inbox later this afternoon. So without further ado, I'm extremely excited to introduce today's panelists, starting with Nathan of ForwardLane. Nathan, would you tell the group a little bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Nathan Stevenson. I'm the CEO and founder of ForwardLane. I'm South African by origin. I have a background in quantitative finance and investment banking, and I started ForwardLane in 2016. So we've grown from step to step, and very excited to be here. And thank you very much for having us, Caroline and Dave.
Yeah, Nathan, thanks so much. We're super excited to have you and for you to share your expertise on this really exciting trend we're seeing. So also from ForwardLane team joining us is Browning. Browning, would you tell the group a little bit about your background?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. I am Browning Mank. I'm the head of sales and partnerships here at ForwardLane. And my background's 20, 30 years in the business. I started out my career as an advisor and a wholesaler for Fidelity Investments, where I also went into leadership for those types of roles in different divisions, and worked for an RIA after Fidelity, started my own business, and have been with ForwardLane for the last year and a half.
Thanks so much, Browning. Super excited for you to share expertise on today's call. And last but certainly not least, I'm super excited to introduce Dave, Chief Commercial Officer of BridgeFT. Dave, would you tell the group a little bit about your backgrounds?
Sure, thanks, Carolyn, and thank you all for joining today's webinar. My name is Dave Hagan. I am the Chief Commercial Officer here at BridgeFT. I joined Bridge a little over a year ago. Previously was at Goldman Sachs in their RIA custody business, leading digital strategy and third-party integrations. I've been most of my career, a little over 25 years in the fintech space at a number of different size companies, but real excited to share both a little bit about BridgeFT as well as talk a little bit about our partnership and some of the industry trends shaping sort of our space, particularly around ForwardLane and their client base as well.
Great, thanks so much, Dave. Really appreciate that. And before we dive into the content, if you wouldn't mind, speaking a little bit on BridgeFT and our offering.
Sure, and maybe just to step back just a little bit, again, we're, at BridgeFT, we're really lucky to work with, many of the most innovative companies in our space. So for today's session, the opportunity to bring in experts from ForwardLane to talk deeply about the impact of AI on wealth management, and really more specifically about the emergence of ChatGPT and what we should be doing now to take advantage of this unique and sort of game-changing technology. So ForwardLane, both a partner and a client of BridgeFT, and we're really glad, one, to host this session, but two, to work alongside them on a number of initiatives. So really quickly, for folks who don't know BridgeFT, we are a wealth infrastructure software company. We're powering many of the industry's leading financial institutions, fintechs, advisors, and even TAMPs to deliver data-driven financial outcomes for their clients. We're 100% committed to technology that's modern, cloud native, and completely API first, and I think that's what really sets us apart. Our Wealth Tech API, which we recently launched at the beginning of this year, provides a single connection to trade-ready multi-custodial data, analytics, and even application building blocks, removing the need for folks and clients of ours to build core functionality, business logic, data infrastructure that, as we all know, is oftentimes expensive and resource intensive. So a little bit about sort of our core product on the Wealth Tech API side. Next slide is really more just a simple graphic for folks who aren't familiar with us, but just really to illustrate some of the capabilities. And really all starts with the data, and particularly as we start talking about some of the advancements in this space around AI, ChatGPT, providing insights into what's going on across an advisor's book of business or a network of financial institutions. Our data aggregation engine is where it all starts. So providing direct connections to all the major industry custodians, back office providers, normalizing that data and providing one single interface to really unlock that data and all the building blocks that go around that. So removing the need for legacy data file transfers, batch processing. Our API first approach really allows us to stand out and help be a true enabler for firms like ForwardLane and others to more easily create those unique data-driven solutions. So a little bit of an infomercial, but I know lots of folks who aren't familiar with us. But with that, I'm going to pause, turn it over to the experts, and really let Nathan and Browning lead the discussion here around some real interesting activities in our space.
Thanks, Dave. So 1 second. All right, let's get started. One second. Great. So once again, thank you to BridgeFT. Thank you everybody for joining today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the advent of GPTs and how they could help you in wealth management and some of the things to bear in mind. So if you don't know ForwardLane, we're an inside engine for wealth and asset management. We have won awards. We're a Wealth Tech 100 company and AI FinTech 100 company. And we have over 100 years experience in wealth and asset management in financial services. We got some great investors, been through the top accelerator programs in the US. So that's a bit about us. So what are we here today to do? There is a lot of hype about ChatGPT, about AI. So our goal here is to float all of the boats together and bring everybody along for the ride and separate that signal from the noise. So what is the wider context around ChatGPT and why is it so important right now? So most of us are familiar with what we see on the left, which is this dashboard-focused way of consuming analytics, method of consuming insights. But that is changing. It's changing to a space in which it's in context, it's in the workflow of the advisor. Conversational elements is one part of it, but also providing this open experience where everything is connected and embedded, where the data stories come together around the client in your workflow when you need it, rather than having to go out to dashboards to glean all that information together. How do we get there? Well, today we have these BI dashboards, low relevance dashboards, good content, good analytics, but they're very standardized, and there's a lot of digging to be done to try and tie that together with client data and really put it together in one place. So multi-structured analytics is the way to get there. It's everything from natural language processing to predictive analytics, descriptive analytics, and a wide variety of any analytics you can think of. What really matters coming out of that is, how does this help me make better decisions for my clients? How does it help me provide more personalized experience to clients? How does it help me tell a better story? That's all that matters at the end of the day beyond these analytics. So that's the wider context. Now I'm going to dive into ChatGPT, and what it is, and GPT-4. So as many of you probably know, ChatGPT is the fastest application in history to reach 1 million users. And if that wasn't impressive enough, it took just 2 more months to actually reach 100 million users. So what is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is a chatbot that enables you to ask questions and answer them just like a human would. It's trained on the internet, it's trained on a huge amount of data. And we're gonna talk a little bit about the difference between ChatGPT, which is a 3.5 model, to GPT-4. So it took just another 4 months to go from GPT 3.5 or ChatGPT to 4. Now, most of what you've read in the press about ChatGPT is the old version. And the old version did a really good job, but it did make quite a few mistakes. So everything you see in blue there is the old version, and in green is the new one. So there's been a huge leap in capabilities between ChatGPT and GPT-4. For example, the bar exam, it's gone from the lowest 10th percentile to the top 90th. That's a huge leap in capabilities. And what I've pointed out in the red components here is really some of the capabilities that an average advisor might be required to have in order to engage a client effectively. So, you have to understand the law, you have to understand legal and compliance considerations. There's macro and microeconomics to be able to explain and understand the wider picture, stats to interpret time series data and portfolios and provide an explanation to clients of the relevance of information. And then, of course, you need to be able to communicate effectively with your clients, both verbally and written. And of course, as a baseline, you have to understand math. So here's just some of the changes that we've seen very recently. It's gone from a roughly 40% level, 40 to 50% level, which is really, quite honestly, a failing grade. It's not going to get you all that far, to 80% plus, and but it's not perfect. And this just gives you a little bit of an idea of where we are today. So in a number of categories, GPT-4 now is performing at around about a 70% level, but it's still deficient and it's not infallible. And 70% good enough? Well, it's good enough for a knowledge worker. It's good enough to help you help somebody else. But is it good enough to put straight out into the world? No, not yet. So that gives us some insights into how we might want to use it. So what are some of the limitations? Some of the big limitations are that it doesn't really understand financial jargon. It is trained on some financial data from Motley Fool, Fool.com, some other places like that, but it really doesn't understand the relative context. It does not understand technical analysis. There are challenges with inherent biases in the training data. There's a great Washington Post article. If you Google what's in ChatGPT, you can see a breakdown of all of the actual data that goes into ChatGPT. As a result of some of those sources, there are some biases that could be picked up in the data. It cannot replace human intuition and expertise in complex decision making. This is really important. This means that advisors are not going to be out of a job, neither are wholesalers. However, the job may change and it may become easier in some ways and actually more sophisticated and better in many others. Of course, there are concerns about data privacy and security. You should not be sharing sensitive client information over ChatGPT today because it's going into the cloud, and then you're not exactly sure what happens after that. So be very sure not to be sharing any PII data or any client identifying data in ChatGPT at all. The last thing, and this is really where the partnership between Forward and BridgeFT really hits home hard, is that there is no real-time market data integrations. There's no analysis capabilities of those portfolios of that structured data. So we'll dive into a little bit more of the distinctions between ChatGPT and ForwardLane Bridge solution, which we've worked to develop to solve some of these problems. But first, I thought we'd just talk about a couple of interesting use cases just to whet your appetite as to what is possible today. First is really using this to create AI-powered financial plans. So this is very interesting because it won't necessarily enable you to create a financial plan end-to-end like you could in MoneyGuide Pro or eMoney or Naviplan or similar tools like that. However, it can give you the questions you need to ask, information you need to gather in order to create that plan and provide recommendations. So one example here is I'm using this. I'm a high net worth client. I would like to see what could actually be done with ChatGPT, or in this case, it's GPT-4. And I've asked it to ask me questions in order to create a plan for myself. So why did I do that? I did that because, maybe I personally don't want to speak to an advisor. Maybe I'm concerned about the fees. Maybe I'd like to see how far I could get by myself. Maybe I'm a millennial or accredited investor, and I just want to see for myself. The very interesting thing is when you look at these questions, you look at the level of engagements, you're going to get pretty far just with a personal interaction with GPT-4. Now, that's where we are today. You can bet your bottom dollar that there's going to be a GPT-5 that comes out. What happens at that point in time? We can also analyze numbers. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because it should feel like an existential threat, because it kind of is, but at the same time, it's just something to think about. Like, this is how clients may be thinking. So if I'm an advisor, or if I'm a wholesaler, or if I'm speaking to advisors, I need to bear this in mind when the clients are going to be engaging with this technology. So how can I engage with clients in a way that is thoughtful and interweaves this so that they have the confidence that I know better, and also I'm using the latest technology to benefit them. So here's how a planner, a CFA, could actually use GPT-4 today to help try and formulate engagement plans. Why would you need this? Well, you might have juniors on the team. You might have other people on the team where you don't necessarily want them spending a huge amount of time creating engagement plans. Sure, you can provide training. Sure, you can hire in these skills, but it's not going to be happening in a tailored way every day, every time. And your systems, your wealth tech stack won't necessarily integrate in the way that you want in order to achieve this engagement plan. So this is just an example. You're a planner. You're meeting with a high net worth female prospect who has children and aging parents. She's in the VC industry and owns a property worth about $2 million, and she's got a further $2 million to invest. You work at a broker-dealer or aggregator RIA. How would you approach this clients, and what would you say to engage her and capture her attention and differentiates what you offer to competitors? So you'll see in that prompt, there's a lot of information there. I'm just treating it as if it's really is an expert, and I'm testing to see what it comes back with. And quite honestly, it's pretty damn good. It says, establish rapport, highlight the qualifications to kind of meet the needs that you're on a similar plane to the client. Discuss her goals, specifically call out her unique needs. The fact that she might be wanting to explore alternative investments and how you could potentially help with that. Talking about the personalized service that you can bring to bear, along with things like family multi-generational wealth management, tax strategies, estate planning, and of course ending on trust, transparency, and how the ongoing collaboration really brings it all together. So the great thing about this is that you can actually double click on this and say, tell me more about how you'd establish rapport. Explain what is the best way to highlight qualifications in this type of conversation. How would you break down the financial goals? So this is just giving you a bit of an idea as to what is actually possible right now today. If you go in and you get your ChatGPT Plus subscription. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of how you can use it today. Next, I'm going to just dive into some of the benefits and highlight the distinctions between GPT and the ForwardLane bridge stack. So what you can expect, improved efficiency. I think this goes without saying. It's going to help you in a lot of simple tasks, but to really move the needle, you need a platform that's actually going to be designed to specifically meet the needs of advisors. At ForwardLane, we studied the activities of over 100 advisors, mapped out what are the data sources and tasks that they need to do every day. We then connected up all that data from across the portfolios, CRMs, financial plans, market data, news, research, content, all of that. Where does a lot of that data come from? Bridge, through the WealthTech API from Bridge. We've been partners with Bridge for over 2 years now. And of course, we put that in a package which is SOC 2 and GDPR data compliant. So now you have all of the right information at your fingertips, and it can be processed consistently for all of your clients. Try and do that in GPT-4 and you're going to come unstuck very quickly. So that's why you need all the data in one place. It helps with real efficiency. 2 is accuracy. So GPT-4 is going to be really good at helping to analyze data and identify patterns and trends, enabling you to do things like engagement plans. But really, you need a platform that's going to be able to call up the very specific, verifiable, auditable data that supports that engagement, so that when you're speaking with a client, it's going to be clear that this is golden source data. The data is coming from the data warehouse. It's coming from the data systems that I know are my source of truth, and I can trust this data. This is absolutely essential in any AI-powered platform. And of course, you don't want to go through all the headache of ensuring you're compliant when it comes to handling this data. That's something that Bridge and ForwardLane have worked really together on with some of the largest organizations in the US and globally to meet those data compliance and security considerations. Third is personalization. It's wonderful to be able to create a tailored engagement plan for clients and a financial plan. But think about how a client actually interacts with you digitally. A client is really has a lot of touch points, from CRM to website visits, marketing campaigns, all the activity in the portfolio, life events. Life events are a big deal. We also work with Intergen data. All of this is necessary to be able to provide a truly personalized picture, personalized insights for the client. So if you don't have that together, if you don't have a way of putting that and using that together with GPT-4, you're kind of wasting a lot of time. You can make gains on the edge, but you're missing out on that true personalization. Risk management, we talked a bit about risk management, but GPT-4 cannot plug into portfolios or understand time series data. So with a signal engine, with the engine that's tuned on your data, it can do that quickly and easily and bring that into your CRM for you. Lastly is the client experience. Of course, the client experience is going to be much better using some of the capabilities of GPT-4, but really you need to combine those personalized insights with the verifiable enterprise data to give real, true insights to your clients and make them relevant for the client. If you don't have all that holistic data around how the clients engage with your brand, you're really missing out on so much in that relationship. Pay attention to that when you think about your client experience. So lastly, I'll end on risk, and I'm going to hand over to Browning. The risks of GPT-4 and GPT right now is compliance. Where does the data live? How is it transferred? So a good way to think about it is this is a knowledge worker. Don't give anything out to GPT-4 you wouldn't give to an MBA intern. And also just think about GPT-4 as if they're an intern or a junior on your team. You can use them for some things, but you're always going to have to check the work. You're always going to have to apply that to your outputs. You can, if you wanted to do this yourself, if you're a Morgan Stanley, for example, you can tune the data. You can train it on the Morningstar and Refinitiv data. You can train it on Edgar data. You can check to see that things are working properly after the fact. Or you can use a platform like ForwardLane, where we've done this work for you. We've packaged it all together into an insight engine, and we've thought through about how you might want to engage as an advisor, as a wholesaler, and from there on out. So I'm going to hand over to Browning at this point, and yeah, hopefully that was interesting, and I'll hand it over to you, Browning. You're on mute.
Thank you. Let me see if I can share here. No one can see my screen. Do you have the few slides, Nathan? You've been made the presenter. Okay, now I can share my screen. I need the... Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, yeah, so what does ForwardLane do? Why are we here? Why do we exist? We help to optimize the time in your day, and we still be able to communicate in a very personalized way with your clients. I was an advisor and wholesaler, as I mentioned early in my career, so I have an appreciation for the amount of time it takes to be a top performing professional. You've got to do all kinds of work, including data analytics work, so that you can be prepared for doing your practice management, your prospecting, your training, reviewing portfolios, and of course, meeting with clients. I can relate to 50% of a day being spent gathering and analyzing data. I wonder if you can too, just so that we're engaging with our clients in a very personalized, meaningful way and adding value to those conversations. Let's see if I can change it. Well, just a minute. Will Robinson.
Just working.
It was, but I don't have my, okay. There we go. Okay, so no wonder it's hard. It's hard because we're flooded with data. And as we're, as I was an advisor, I'm looking at unstructured data along with structured data. My unstructured data could be all my notes that I'm taking and have taken in Salesforce. It could be my transcripts from Otter, could be emails, marketing material, website material, and I'm combining it with structured material such as custody accounts, transaction data, BridgeFT data, portfolio plans, CRM, market data, data pack data, life event data. All of that is going to play into me being able to focus and make decisions and contact my clients. Well, what we do is pull all of that together for you. In the background, it's bringing insights forward for you, and they're called signals, and they're really focused on helping you have personalized contents, having next best actions that you can take, suggestions for you, and engaging with your clients. And it's really meant to tell you what's happening, why is it happening, and how can you improve your client outcomes. And this is to drive results. So at the end of the day, our clients are telling us that it's saving them about 6 hours of busy work each week on average, and it's driving 150% more revenue because they have, and most importantly, it's improving their client experience from their ability to reach out to more clients more often and respond to clients in a very timely, personalized way. And unlike a busy dashboard, like
their business going forward as well. So I think with that, I'm going to turn it back to Carolyn to moderate the Q&A session. See if we have any questions that may have come in during the webinar, or if there's some follow-up sessions here or questions as we conclude.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much, first of all, for going through that. I think we packed a ton of content into that 40 minutes, so that is awesome. We were able to get through all that. Did have a couple things pop up during the session, and honestly, ForwardLane team, you're going to have to take these because I'm really not entirely sure. So one of our attendees asks, are you going to apply to be a GPT-4 plugin? I don't know what that means.
That's a great question. I think that there's a number of ways to do that. We probably won't be a GPT-4 plugin because that's more consumer orientated, but we are partners with Microsoft and OpenAI. So that gives us enterprise access to GPT-4, and we are working on that. We have 10 different use cases in our platform, and actually everybody at ForwardLane, from developers to everybody, uses GPT-4 every day. So to answer your question, you're going to be seeing GPT-4 capabilities in the ForwardLane platform over the next few months.
Got it. Yeah, thanks so much for going through that. And it's actually that interestingly really kind of springboards us into the next question, which is specifically regarding where is GPT-4 being used within the ForwardLane platform?
Great question. So, taking those insights that really kind of come from the structured and unstructured data, and then reformatting them, organizing them into really snapshots that can be easily conveyed to a client. That's a primary use case. So sharing that data story, and then also enabling you to transform that data story into an email that is really personalized to individual clients, so with one click. And I think that's a big step forwards. Obviously, you're still going to need to check that email and see that it makes sense for the client. But that is 2 clicks to true 100% personalization based off of real verifiable, auditable data. So that's huge. And then some of the other really interesting use cases are being able to semantically search through some of that data and ask questions of specific clients, ask questions about your book of business, and really kind of dig into a lot of the data that's behind the scenes in natural language. And then lastly, we have a visual signal creator, which we haven't shown today. Contact us if you'd like to learn more about that. but we're going to be able to put the tools in your hands of creating insights like Lego, and taking that even one step forwards by being able to type in the types of insights you have in mind, and for it to be translated into a visual representation, which you can then preview the results of in your own data, and then hit publish, and it will go out to all of your advisors in your team, dramatically reducing the complexity, improving the efficiency and speed in terms of creating insights. So those are the three ways that we're thinking of starting with GPT-4.
Great, Nathan. Thanks so much for going through that. Really appreciate that. Thank you to the audience for those really cool, engaging questions on that. ForwardLane team, did you guys have any like a kind of a call to action slide or anything you wanted to go over with the audience before we kind of wrap up today's content?
Yeah, and let me just share. Can you share the sharing, please?
Yes, I will share the sharing. There you go.
All right. So basically, what we're offering today is, you heard the general picture, but each firm, whether you're an asset manager, you're a TAMP, a regional broker-dealer, or an RIA, we're offering AI consults. Feel free to email Browning directly at browning.mank@forwardlane.com. And we'll spend a little bit of time learning more about your business. What are some of your goals? And then we will share some of our feedback and insights. And if we can help you, great. If we can't, we'll point you in the right direction of many of our fintech partners, many of which are in the advice engagement category, and also our partners with Bridge. So yeah, and if you have any
then we did have another, and it's just the timing is perfect here. We had an audience member ask if someone is interested in getting started with both ForwardLane and Bridge, what is the best route, and typically like how difficult would it be to implement that joint solution?
Sure. So we have a cloud-based solution. We are fully integrated with Bridge. So the great news about that is that we can switch on your custodial data once we're through the data security. So you don't need to do any integrations there. It just switches on like that. And we can actually implement the full ForwardLane platform with off-the-shelf signals in less than 30 days. And you'll be up and running, and you'll get all of those capabilities as part of that. There's an implementation fee, and then you pay per use after that. So you're just paying for the insights that you get, the ones that actually get delivered to you on clients. You're not even paying for the data processing. So very simple, transparent. Pay for what you use. You can switch on the signals, switch them off. You have full control. The best way to get started, shoot Browning an email, book some time, and we can have a chat about what you're interested in.
Dave, did you have anything to add?
No, this is great. Super powerful platform. Happy to be a partner and working with you all on some of these initiatives. And for folks that are interested in learning more, definitely reach out to Browning directly. She knows where to find us. And forward to dive in a little deeper on all these different unique sort of AI trends.
That'd be great. And Carolyn, maybe we can put the actual, before we send out the recording, we'll get the actual demo where it makes sense on the overdub stuff. So.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. We can send it. And just before we wrap up today, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that joined us in this session. We're really excited to host you for future content. And thank you, Nathan, Browning, for sharing your expertise. We really appreciate it. So thank you, everyone.
Great.
Have a great day.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Dave.